Hello, this is Dr. Lee, and now we will cover the eye. Again, this is MBC 102, Unit 2 lecture. The objectives for this presentation are to identify the anatomy of the eye, define and spell the word parts, build and analyze medical terms using word parts, define, pronounce, and spell the disease and disorder, diagnostic, surgical, and complementary terms for the eye, interpret the meanings of the abbreviations, and read medical documents and interpret medical terminology contained in them. Here we have the anatomy of the eye. As you can see, the very big front part of the eye, you have the cornea, followed by the anterior chamber or aqueous of humor. Then you have the iris, and then behind that, the lens. And then behind that, the huge space right there is called the vitreous chamber or the vitreous humor. And you have the suspensory ligaments, those tiny little ligaments that hold the lens together. You have the sclera, the retina, and the choroid, and the fovea, all kind of encircling that vitreous chamber and the lens. And then towards the back, you have the optic nerve, which actually surrounds the whole lens and the vitreous chamber. Here's a visible surface of the eye. So you have the pupil that's right in front of the lens. You can see all the blood vessels, the retinal blood vessels kind of flowing into that eye. A few other things that you can see here is the macula, the optic disc, and then towards the front you see the uvea, and the cornea and all the other areas that we pointed out earlier, the anterior chamber, the suspensory ligaments, the sclera, the choroid. So here are definitions of each of those parts. So the sclera is the outer protective layer of the eye. So that's like the white part of the eye. The cornea is the transparent anterior part of the sclera. The choroid is the middle layer of the eye, and the iris is that pigmented muscular structure that allows light to pass through. The pupil is the opening in the center of that iris, okay? And the lens lies directly behind the pupil to focus and bend light. Now the retina is the innermost layer of the eye, and that contains the vision receptors. The aqueous fluid is the watery liquid in the anterior cavity of the eye. And the vitreous fluid is the jelly-like liquid found behind the lens in the posterior cavity of the eye, and that maintains its shape. The meibomian glands are the oil glands that are found in the upper and lower edges of the eyelids, and it helps to lubricate the eye. We also have lacrimal glands and ducts, and those produce and drain tears. You have optic nerve, which carries visual impulses from the retina to the brain. Conjunctiva is the mucous membrane that lines the eyelids and covering of the anterior portion of the sclera. So here are some diseases associated with the eye. So this is drooping eye. That's just a disease of the muscle that's surrounding the eye. You can have a detached retina. Usually that's caused by trauma. It's very painful and causes problems with the vision, obviously. And that ends this presentation.